AUXILIA MNANGAGWA, the one to humiliate her. They even said she should be blocked to never come there and try to host a funny fair when she is ignoring all the ills that are happening in our country. Children are dying in hospital. We look at corruption. Again, her family, Mnangagwa's family, the first family, is being accused of stealing more than the budget of the Zimbabwean people. Can you only imagine that you can steal more than the budget of the country? A family, right? But that's exactly what we're facing today. On the other end, Emmerson Mnangagwa is rattled because also the pressure is that he needs to step down and he needs to go. Remember, where the election Emmerson Mnangagwa is going, we're just counting the days. I can guarantee you on that. Jealous Mori is out here again, cementing with the very same issue. Guys, shout out to the girls. Pokelo on the other end, again, you know, she's also married to Mnangagwa Emerson Jr., right? And I heard that Pokelo is fighting the newly found girl. It's getting very exciting. Anyway, before we get to the nitty-gritty, because I know you can't wait to hear what I think about all these headlines. I must say, some of you, it's your first time to come across this channel. It's Rumbe Uncensored, a very, very, interesting channel where we talk about Zimbabwean issues and again, I mean, issues in general. I must say that subscribe to the channel and also make sure that you ring the bell. So at least every time I'm live, you're going to be robbed right here. There's quite a number of people just joining me as I press the button. And I say you are welcome, guys. Please don't forget the culture is with thumbs up the video because the video has to move. Everyone needs to be notified of what's going on in the country. Because remember, most of these, television stations in the country are censored. So people don't get to hear the truth. They want people to hear what they want, not the truth. So these platforms head no bear. We do not hide anything. We don't censor nothing. It's what you hear. It's exactly what it is. You understand? And you also know that this place is becoming your trusted space. So come around. We need to chat. Guys, say what you think in the comment section. What do you think about the girls that are blocking AUXILIA MNANGAGWA to host a fan fair in the United Kingdom? Also, what Jonas is going to be saying in the next few minutes. I also want to hear what you think about Pokelo's fight with another girl for Emmerson Mnangagwa Jr. Interesting days ahead. No, why so early? Okay. So before we proceed, I just want you to listen to Jealous Maori. I must say, Jealous has been very busy exposing corruption. So take a listen to him, please.
How's the political temperature in Zimbabwe? Quite tense. I would like to believe quite tense. And yeah, the people are generally agitated because there is a lot of looting, a lot of corruption going around. And this corruption is actually become so pervasive. It's everywhere. It affects everyone to an extent that you have a sad situation where victims of a road traffic accident don't have basic things like plaster, like bandages. We have a situation where our hospitals are using cardboard boxes, as bandages, cardboard boxes and sellotape. It's that dire. We have a situation where almost everything is not functioning. And this is purely because of the corruption that is going on around the president. Because we are now favored with the exposition that Comrade Geza did, that the president is suffering from some mental affliction called vascular dementia. He forgets. So those people that are around him, including his family, his wife, his children, and his business associates, have taken advantage of his mental condition to get into deals, to get into corrupt deals using his name and his signature. To some extent, moving military personnel from one department to the other, to some extent firing ministers in his stead. So what we have now is that executive powers are being exercised by surrogates. So we have surrogate president making surrogate presidential and executive decisions to move personnel in the army, to fire ministers and appoint ministers, and to do dirty deals within the economy. We have an unfortunate situation where people around the president About 6 people now are being investigated by the Zimbabwe police. Kudakwa Gwirei, Simbarashe Chinyemba, Varaidzo Zifudzi, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance, George Guamatanga, the former Reserve Bank governor, who is now CEO, who is now board chair of an investment house called Mutapa Investment, John Panonetsa Mangujiga. They are being investigated. Those people are being investigated for corruption involving 1.9 billion United States dollars. And this is emanating from the sale of 35% shares in a company, in a mining house called Kuimba Mining House. And this Kuimba Mining House is owned by Tagwirei and partly by the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe through a trust, his family trust called Eagles Trust. So the President, we have an unfortunate situation where the criminals are no longer around the President, but the President is part of the criminals. And these criminals have been wreaking havoc in the financial market. They are looting state-owned enterprises. So that's the unfortunate situation that we have in Zimbabwe. And unlike your previous report in Baybridge that Zimbabweans are running away from the effects of sanctions, the biggest sanction in Zimbabwe is the president of the country who has allowed rampant looting, the president of the country who has allowed those around him, his family, his children, his business associates, to exercise executive powers and make executive decisions.
Wow. Me by just listening to Jealous Mawareneka, I feel, I don't know, I feel weak and actually sick and angry that Emmerson Mnangagwa would allow his children to continue looting Zimbabwe to death. Okay, to death. Funny thing is that, did you notice the picture that is actually on the thumbnail? That picture, you see Emmerson Mnangagwa, one of his sons, so serious. They are threatening Zimbabweans, intimidating us, but forgetting that in 2017, they come looking for a job. The Zimbabwean people employed them in 2017. They were looking for a job, but today they act like they are Zimbabwe. They do as they please. We have a very big problem in our country. In fact, there is a message. There's actually a tweet that is trending, and this tweet is showing Robert Mugabe's son, who bought the latest car in Harare, and people are talking about it. And I'm saying to them, this is one of the reasons why Mnangagwa's kids are stealing. Is the lifestyle. We have taught our people to take, not to work for things. As long as your parent or your father is in the government space, you can have anything that you want. There are no consequences. I genuinely believe in 2017, Mnangagwa could not wait for him to just have his hand there. Because what else did he achieve except taking? The guy has been stealing since day one. Prior to 2017, he was known for being corrupt. But now he's worse. Is any little cent that comes, he takes for himself. Any cent that comes, the children takes. They come with all these shady deals. The fake companies, some are opened in South Africa, where Wikino is fronting. In Zimbabwe as well, it's clear. Because how come Emmerson Mnangagwa is failing to keep that corruption? How come he's on record actually protecting Wikino Chivayo? Honestly, if he genuinely wants to deal with corruption, what stops him? He has the powers to do it. Why Navana Guamatanga refusing to actually be able to attend the inquiry? Because they know they're protected. Who's protecting them? The man that's giving orders, right? But one thing I'll tell you is that he is rattled. We'll talk more about that in the evening when we speak about the issue of the military. It's interesting. He's rattled. He doesn't know what else to do. Yesterday, he went to a meeting in Russia. He found himself in Belarus. I'm sure he's like, guys, anything can happen. I may come and hide right here. He went to some of his bodies, his ministers. It's interesting to watch what's happening. That's why I must say shout out to the Zimbabweans in the UK who are prepared to block AUXILIA Mnangagwa. What are you coming here for? What are you coming here to do when the country is bleeding? I must say shout out to Zimbabweans. You guys know your story. People are not standing for what they know is right. There's no more the politics or nonsense. No one is buying it. Every Zimbabwean wants to see this country work. Right? So Romancia is reporting that AUXILIA Mnangagwa wants to host a summit in the UK on the 17th to the 18th of June. That's insane. How come you want to come to the UK and preach about women's innovation and leadership while you can't help the pregnant woman who can't afford anything, but she wants to fly around the world using the taxpayers' money? So they have so many placards already prepared that she should never be seen, that will never succeed. Fix the health system, Zimbabweans, lives matter. She's answerable to lack of democracy, lack of transparency, and human rights violations in Zimbabwe. Your voice matters. Stop abductions, corruption, arbitrary arrest, maternal death. Let's stop AUXILIA MNANGAGWA from attending the FLAIR Summit on the 6th, 17th, and 18th of June. And which I completely agree on that. If I was in the UK, I would stand up. And for those that are, please do attend. Make sure that she does not have a chance. We do not want to deal with the liars and deceivers. In fact, allegations are the reason why Dara Stroke, Blessed Mhlanga, was released out of prison is because she wanted to clean herself, mess out, as the president's wife. Because remember, in the UK, people were complaining that what is she going to come here and teach people, considering the mess and the damage they've caused in their own country. And she said, no, what is it? Release him. So you guys are play political pawn with people's destiny. You arrest a father, you take him out when you want to, just because you want to go to the UK. Can you see how they treat Zimbabweans? A father stayed how many days? 72 days in prison. Could not spend time with his wife and his children because you guys just want to do as you please. Kids are looking so, serious, so that Zimbabweans can be afraid of them. I genuinely believe that fear no longer cut in Zimbabwe right now. Everyone knows their story and they will stand to fight for their own rights. So I genuinely say, if you're in the UK, stand up for yourself. Do everything in your power. Trust me, we are also doing everything to make sure our voice ahead. AUXILIA MNANGAGWA need to always realize that they are employed by Zimbabweans. They don't own Zimbabwe, neither do they own Zimbabweans. Listen, Ian Smith died in Cape Town. You thought he was that big and you realized that he was not, right? Mugabe, our Grace would come out here. No, rule in my husband will rule from the grave. Remember? Yes, Grace could not. She did all manner of nonsense in that country. She thought she was bigger than Zimbabwe. And you should realize that no, Zimbabwe is bigger than you. This is to actually remind AUXILIA MNANGAGWA that no, Zimbabwe is bigger than you. Very soon you realize that you are not even as smart as you think you are. Zimbabweans are 20 steps ahead. They may just wait for the right time, but they're all watching. Every move you guys are making, every stealing that you're doing is on record. And trust me, I can see what's going on in Zambia. Today, Lungu is nothing. He lost everything, including all that he bought under his children. They're tracing it, which means Zimbabweans will come after every cent that every looter took. We want our money back to its people. Because remember, the money belongs to the taxpayers. So with that being said, people who take what belongs to Caesar, back to Caesar. So guys, buckle up. The Zimbabwe that you want is around the corner. The signs are there. You can see them. The signs are there. They're also the lovers of drama. I can tell you they love drama a lot. I can call Emmerson Mnangagwa a script writer. If you ask me, he's a master illusionist. He has mastered the art of playing with Zimbabwe's mind. Every season, he writes a script that plays in front of us, just wasting everyone's time. Because, when people are not working, they create work. Because by nature, human beings were meant to work. That's how we were created. So once you do not work, you create anything that keeps you busy because the mind of a human being can be idle. It is just how we are created. Talking about the drama, another letter just dropped this afternoon. Drama after drama after drama. This Sengezo Shabangu that Mnangagwa wrote. It's their own scripts. Vana Joe Charamba, this entire regime, Vana Mudenta, Ziambi. These guys, they're a shameful lot. I don't even know how they sleep at night. How they even go back home and imagine removing a jacket and call yourself a daddy. In fact, Mudenta, that is a judge. Go to university to play games with destiny. To play games. So there's a letter that came out this afternoon. You know, the single Shavangu thing, again, I must just say Zimbabwe's shout out because I saw you guys blue ticked the whole thing. But I just want to update you on that stupid stuff. Honestly, I don't really care about Songezo Shavangu. In fact, it's a waste of my time and my energy. But I want to read the letter. Now, the Supreme Court of Zimbabwe, this is what breaks my heart. In fact, I said to you, relax. I'm coming in the evening around 8:30. I've got a very strong message for the judiciary, the military, the police, and Emerson MNANGAGWA. I have a message for them. You know, it's funny to know that the Supreme Court of Zimbabwe, I'm talking about this, guys, the Supreme Court, the highest court is the Supreme, no, the highest one is the Constitutional Court, right? The Supreme Court would entertain such kind of nonsense of guys who are playing games with destiny. I'm saying they are playing games. Okay, the Sengo's Shavangu is just another episode of nonsense. But there's a letter that they send out that the Supreme Court today, the Supreme Court, bear in mind the Supreme Court, with the consent of both parties, struck off the appeals filed by the Speaker of Parliament, please note, advocate. Okay, so Jacob Mudende is an advocate, and Mr. Songezo Shavangu from the courtroom. The Jew had sought to overturn Justice Wamampo's ruling which barred Mr. Shavangu from unilaterally reshuffling parliamentary and council deployees. The Supreme Court noted that Justice Wamampo's judgment lacked an operative order. In exercising its review powers, the court ordered the matter be remitted to the High Court to be heard afresh before different judge. So are you telling me that in the High Court, judges are going to sit? This breaks my heart, yo. Judges are going to sit, first and foremost, waste the taxpayers' money, okay? Wasting the taxpayers' money. Wasting people's time in a country where hospitals are in dire state. Children are dropping out of school, right? Because parents can't afford. Today, kids are dying because of drug addiction. I'm trying to understand if we human at all in this country. They will sit in the High Court of Zimbabwe to talk about a thug. Sengozo Shavangu is a criminal, is a political criminal that should be behind bars. But no, even the Minister of Police, I'm talking about Mr. Mutamba. Mutamba is his name. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes I forget about when people are not doing anything in society. I don't find any reason why I should waste my time. Honestly, is Mutamba? What's his name? Mutamba? Okay, please help me. You know better. Okay, but he's the Minister of Police. He's sitting, and what does he do? He arrests those small little babies. Okay, I actually saw the police, speaking. That was in Bedbridge, actually about crime, that we are going to protect this country. Oh, then the police that were speaking in Bedbridge, hello you. When are you going to arrest Songezo Shavangu for criminally stole the 2023 election? He stole the political party for Chamisa. Guys, honestly, I feel ashamed to be called a Zimbabwean under this kind of administration because these guys are disgusting. I can only imagine, guys, having my child and raise my child, in such a confused society. That's one of the reasons why Mama, in preparation, Mama is going to stand for your babies that are not yet born, because my babies deserve to grow up in a very sanitized society. I'm not going to allow my child to be led by such psychopaths. These people are mentally deranged, yo. You know, the entire country stands still to listen to psychopaths. I'm sorry. I said by my words, who can believe that a street... Remember, this guy was on the street selling sweets. I'm talking about Songezo Shavangu. Today, he's being known like this kind of a person because he has been propelled by greedy, selfish individuals who have humiliated, stripping Zimbabwe of its dignity, and they expect us to respect them. Forget it, fathers. Stand up and do the right thing, and you have our support. Without that, unfortunately, we'll call things as they are. This is madness. It's madness. Anyway, like I mentioned earlier on, prepare yourself, guys, to make sure that you protect the Zimbabwean people from the nonsense of AUXILIA MNANGAGWA. She cannot transport her lying to the UK. No. You know, when I look at AUXILIA MNANGAGWA, I always want to equate her with a woman who gets married to a husband with children. Here this one, I'm going to use a practical example, okay? If a woman gets married to a husband, or maybe let's say when a woman, any other woman, there's nobody, but any other woman, she gets married to a husband who already have kids, maybe divorced, maybe the wife died, nobody knows, but we're just looking at a scenario. I look at her like this woman who comes in there with her 2 kids, like starving the other children to feed her kids alone. And then when somebody comes to me and tries to tell me that Emmerson Mnangagwa is a strategist, I saw a comment that drove me nuts on Twitter, that Emmerson Mnangagwa is a strategist. Guys, please rebuke me if I'm wrong. Comment in the comment section, do you think Mnangagwa is a strategist or is a cruel man? Because there's a difference here, guys. Because I just painted a picture right now that this woman is feeding her kids alone and is starving the kids that she found in the house. Bear in mind, maybe the father is buying the food for her kids, but when the father is at work, the kids are being starved, but her kids are eating. That's how I want to look at AUXILIA MNANGAGWA. She's focused on making sure the backs of your children are fed. You have seen how they've gained weight. Look at the kids. The time they came in 2017 and how they look today is different, y'all, because they are eating and taking. They're marrying and marrying, I don't know how many concubines. People are telling that in every city they've got a woman for themselves. That shows you that the money is too much. They have to spend it. And this is just allegations that are circulating on social media, right? So can you tell me Emmerson Mnangagwa is a strategist or he's a cruel guy? Because there's a difference, guys. There is a huge difference. You know who is a strategist? I would say Geza is a strategist. Because he took his time to study this war system. He took his time. Because you don't just do things. He gets the facts and bring it to the people. That's being a strategist. But taking, because you have thugs who kill, abduct, and torture, is not a strategy. It's being cruel. Okay? Call things as they are and stop being so overeducated. That's one of the reasons I always say Zimbabweans, sometimes we become educated fools. There's a difference between being a strategist and being cruel. The two are not the same. Don't confuse the two. Because I stand by my words. Emmerson Mnangagwa is cruel. Because if he was a good man, okay, we wouldn't be having the mess that we have today. Considering our past, he knew it. But he decided to make us suffer worse than the way that we were, even though we welcomed him in 2017, like I did. Let me talk about myself. In 2017, that's why I always say I cursed the day that I welcomed Emmerson Mnangagwa in 2017, because I didn't know his past. If I had information about him, I don't think I could have done anything. I would have just sit back and say, this is not a good idea. But anyway, here we are, talking about how the children are abusing the state. They steal more than the budget of Zimbabwe. I'm talking about it. The information is on record from his advisor, Emmerson Mnangagwa's advisor, said the children are stealing more than the budget of Zimbabwe as a country. Remember, the money that you see in Zimbabwe is the taxpayers' money, our hard-earned money, okay? We work so tirelessly to fund this country. And what do? They take for themselves. Now they use the change. Listen, I repeat, they use the change to pay those fools who are on the street, who are threatening, intimidating, harassing their own brothers and sisters, to protect those that are looting billions. Some of you men, you don't deserve to be respected in society, honestly, for propelling absolutely nonsense. But anyway, talking about them having so many women in town. So there's a story that is trending right now that Pokelonare, I don't know how true that is, but it's trending. Pokelonare is fighting with one of Emmerson Mnangagwa's girl. I think they said the newly girl. For some reason, I said I wanted to check in with this girl. I know the girl, but I wanted to say, is this for... But sometimes I don't really care about people's issues. But she's fighting. Okay. Pokelo... Hello? All right, so Pokelo is one of Emmerson Mnangagwa's wife, okay? Remember, they've got different wives. But one thing that I want to know, guys, I'm here for the first wife. The first wife is the chef's kiss. Classy. She's from Ethiopia, right? Yes. classic, clean, pristine, very beautiful, gorgeous. But anyway, men will always never have enough. But I can't judge him because I don't know why he does that. But all I'm saying is Pokelo is fighting with, the allegations. Okay, they're fighting with the current girl who just lost their husband about a few months ago. Okay. So the story is trending right now. And actually, heard this naughty, the Queen Tatilicious is very naughty. He's attacking Pokelo, right? And say, girl, you have been all over the place. You have no moral authority to judge this young baby. Because remember, her husband died. So, I mean, for me, morally, she's got the right to date whoever she wants. Sometimes when you're broken, guys, you just need someone to talk to, And it's not only someone to talk to. Remember, this is the president's son, the president's son, okay? Who bears the father's name? Okay, there's money at play here. Where there is money, women are always going to be there. Tell me about it. I know, but honestly, no, because I'm that kind of person. Definitely not. Honestly, I love with all of my heart. Me, when I fall in love, I really fall in love. Okay, that's me. But I'm saying, what I'm just saying, I mean, honestly, because I've heard people that women actually throw themselves to MNANGAGWA's children. Do I blame them? I can't. The country is poor. So, I mean, if you've got a beautiful body, you're going to do whatever it takes y'all to get your way in there. I'm just saying, I'm looking at what's happening here. But there's a fight. Listen, Pokelo, when she came in, Pokelo has always been this superstar. Or this, she's always been this, what can I call it, man? I want to use the word superstar is not really like the right word, but I'm saying she's always been such light, in the streets. Okay, light, and she would dress very nicely. She's pretty. I like your fashion style. Absolutely beautiful. So she's been known. So when you are like that, I think the mistake is when you get to be with a man like Emmerson Mnangagwa Jr., then you need to expect anything. I mean, if he can just take anyone that he wants, then you really cannot expect a lot. Then she could have just find her own person, you know what I mean, and just be the life that she wanted to. But once you are with a man who can pick anyone and whoever, anytime, because there's money and it's a culture in the family, remember? Okay, don't forget the father has got his own stories. It's not me. It's their lifestyle. But when you just gonna put your thing out there, the girl's gonna talk about y'all. Anyway, so the mistake she made was to actually be with a man that she knows for sure that he can be with whoever he wants. He has got the money. He can play the game. I mean, women throw themselves to him. So I can only imagine if he comes to me and say, I want to marry you, right? If I want to be part of this entourage, I will go for it, right? But so you really can't get upset in a situation like that, because not only they said it's got another one again after Pokelo. These people are just saying things on the street. I don't know how true that is. And then there's this one that is the newly one. So they say that she's after the new one and say, hey, I'm like, girl, but you knew the culture, okay? You got in there with understanding that this place, like if I have to be with a man that is another wife and I want to be the second one, I need to understand that there can be the third one or there can be the fourth one. You see this, so you can't get in there if you're not someone who can tolerate those kind of things. You're gonna just I believe in one person. But in 2025, all right, just want to have some water. But honestly, it's their story. But all I'm saying is, Pokelo Sisi, there's no need to fight. Okay, if this is true, don't fight. You've been there. Okay, I always say girls are funny because if you take someone's husband, just know that it can be taken by someone else. It is what it is, okay? Because life in general is whatever you sow is what you reap, okay? That's why I had respect for my brother who has got his 5 wives, because he's out there living his truth. So he doesn't have no backlash because he's very clear of where he's going. And I'm always a person who believes like, you know what? I need to make sure that all my tricks are clear, so that should anything happen, girl, my tricks are clean. I don't want any stories on the streets. I just want my things to be done right. That's me. So Miss Pokelo, relax and chill. It is what it is. You got in there knowing very well how this family live their life. Okay, these ones don't believe in one wife, y'all. Okay, because it's in the blood. Okay, it's in the blood. So chill and relax, just enjoy the party, and life goes on, y'all. So tell me what you think, guys, in the comment section. Girls in the UK, do what you can do. Brothers, because, I must say shout out to the people in the UK, because the UK people has been very, Zimbabweans, you've been very consistent. Every little thing that happens in Zimbabwe, these guys stand up. They'll always go there, the embassy, and be protesting. They'll be doing everything in their part to make sure there's sanity in Zimbabwe. So I believe in them. Guys, whatever you're doing, we have your support. We'll do everything in our power to push it. Do anything that you can. This country has to work. Zimbabwe has to work. We cannot carry on like this. And I genuinely believe that MNANGAGWA needs to step down. Because the level of looting in the country, Mr. MNANGAGWA, from this young, I genuinely believe that I'm young enough to be your daughter, okay? Sir, now I'm talking like your daughter. In life, you don't always have to get away with everything. Sometimes you don't have to win. Sometimes be the bigger person and just let go of something. For you letting go of this position, it's really not about what you think it is about. It's because we have to protect the legacy of this nation. The nation is going south. People are stealing. It's chaos. I saw what Zivu said today. It was like the money that is being spent and what is being spent for, they don't match. You hear they spend $1 billion, but when you look at where the money is being spent, that thing may be costing about 200 million. Or it may be cost like 20 million. The millions that we are losing and what is happening in the country, these two don't marry. So please, Mr. MNANGAGWA, do yourself a favor and let this thing go. And I'm telling you, if you walk away peacefully, you're going to gain so much respect from the Zimbabwean people. At least you may have been difficult, but at least you managed to say, guys, this thing has gone south. I know so many things went wrong, but I just want us to have peace. Can we part ways? But if you want to keep on fighting, it's a necessary fight, honestly. You have failed. You have completely failed. Not only the Zimbabwean people, you failed the Zimbabwean people, you failed the legacy of Zimbabwe, knowing very well where we came from. You failed yourself because you overpromised, knowing well that you didn't have the capacity. You have failed generations after you, even after us, because you have shown beyond reasonable doubt that you actually do not care. So I genuinely believe that these 4 reasons should at least give you the decency to say, you know what, you may have your pride in your heart. Sometimes I feel like that's why you went to Belarus. You may be saying, guys, I need to exit. Yeah, it's no longer working. It's really for the good of Zimbabwe. Not of politicians, but for the good of Zimbabwe and you. Guys, I can see, I've got almost like 350 people who are just here enjoying the conversation. Guys, what is so difficult? Just thumbs up the video. I want to ask Zimbabwe, sometimes educate me, because guys, listen, I stay in South Africa. Sometimes I move around, but I'm always in South Africa, but I move around. Okay. But I've seen one thing about South Africans, their support. I've dealt with the Nigerians, their support. Okay, guys, there's something that you need to remember here. You said the video that we do, it takes a lot. Okay, it takes a lot. And some of you think it's about content. It's not about content. It's about making this country work. So with that being said, all we ask is thumbs up the video. And guys, just to put a tick, just to say, press your button. It's not difficult. If you are watching on television, I understand because it's difficult. But after this, just thumbs up the video. Let it move to other people, because what we really want is for Zimbabwe to work. In fact, I didn't tell you, there's a podcast. I'm starting a new podcast that's coming up. Speaking with the really, really you politicians, this country has to work. We need to map a way forward. So that means we mean business. We're not playing. So the podcast is coming soon. So relax, we're going to start it online, and there are reasons why we're doing so, because we really can't sit down considering the atmosphere of our politics. But I think as soon as things settles, I'm going to be able to sit down with men and women of influence to map the way forward for Zimbabwe. The youth are desperate. We are desperate. We need this country to work. So guys, please do everything in your power to make sure that at least you push the content so everyone knows. Why I'm bringing entertainment at the same time is because once I settle down, I'm able to look at all, spirituality, because I'm also a Bible teacher, spirituality, look at entertainment, because there's a lot of chaos going on there. We need to bring sanity and the politics. So you and I, we can do this together. It can't be me alone. No, together. I want to open a space where you guys contribute. That's one of the reasons why I said push the content, because once I reach a certain number, I need to get to 100,000 subscribers. Then I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. So let's work together, because Zimbabwe has to work. Guys, please, this country must work. It can't be otherwise. Zimbabwe has to work. I just cannot wait to be in a country where I see young people really working hard to be better. Where I see, guys, where I can be out there. I don't want to be in, I may be out there living in my secluded place, but I can actually be able to drive and go to the mall and do much. I'm talking about proper mall. I'm not talking about small buildings, funny. Where I can, if I want to go to Chirez, I can get in, maybe from Harare to Chirez or anywhere, you know, using bullet trains, having my coffee there in the morning and go for a meeting. Do you understand? That's the Zimbabwe that I want to see, where there are four-way streets. Guys, when I'm driving freely, not the Chinas and Rikuona today, the streets are clean. Grass is green. Do you understand me? I mean, my buildings are top class. People are clean. Everyone is happy. People are pursuing purpose. Guys, it happened in Zimbabwe before, right? And we destroyed everything. I would say I'm also putting myself there, even though I know the people that are really the one behind the mess. But because I'm Zimbabwean, I take responsibility as well. Look what's going on in other countries, guys. If I leave my house, not just go by this small mall next to me, I must tell you that I get so much motivation. I want to see that Zimbabwe. But it can't just happen by accident. I've always been telling people, in fact, I've been meeting a lot of people here around, and I'm saying to them, listen, guys, as soon as MNANGAGWA falls, let's go back home and build our country. We cannot want this better Zimbabwe and we don't want to play a part. Let's go back home and build our country. Guys, there's no country that's just going to happen by accident. You and I can make it happen. So Zimbabweans, let us love our country. We cannot give up on our motherland and our ancestors. We can't. I can't wait to wake up in the morning and be smelling, you know, that soil and the birds, yeah, and smelling the soil and just smell my ancestors like, I can't wait. Guys, we can do this together. Believe in yourself. Let's believe in our country. We can't give up now. Guys, once MNANGAGWA falls, I'll be on my way to Zimbabwe, y'all. I'll be there. Like, we're going to build this country together. No, whatever it takes. If it means I'm going to take a broom, you see the broom, and be sweeping, I'm going to be there with my broom sweeping it. You understand? Honestly, I'm going to be holding my broom and be sweeping in town. Because this cannot be. It can't. No, what I'm seeing on social media is breaking my heart. No, guys, I just want you to hear me out. We can fix Zimbabwe, okay? So tell me what you think in the comment section. UK people, shout out. I love you. And I'll see you later, guys. We're going to talk about the military. I said the judiciary, military, police. I have a strong message for them. Very strong message. And you're going to hear more in the evening. I love you guys. Bless you and bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.